welcome to another video of IR 101, where we give you a breakdown of major international relations theories. Today we will be talking about the English school of thought in international relations. The English school is largely associated with Professor Hedley Bull. Bull has written several books about the English school. The most prominent of these is The Anarchical Society, which I do recommend you all to read as it gives a comprehensive outline of how Bull understood the English school. The English school has primarily three key tenets: the international system, international society, and world society. The international system is defined as a system wherein states behave as a part of a whole due to being dependent on one another to some extent. Here, the behavior of one state has some impact on the other states in the system. International society, on the other hand, is one where states have some institutional and normative ties to one another. They see themselves to be bound by some common set of rules, in addition to being dependent to some extent on one another. It is important to note here that within the English school of thought, the term institution refers to long-term practices between states that allow for the development of set norms and principles. This is distinct from organizations, which refers to bodies like the United Nations. Finally, world society transcends the state system to take human beings or individuals as the key unit of organization. Here, individuals and non-state actors become the primary organizational agents in society. The distinction between international system and international society is particularly important in understanding how the English school perceives interstate relations. Historically, we can see that the world formed an international system where empires had some impact on, for example, the French Empire or even the Chinese Empire. However, with time, we have developed international institutions that have bound states together through the creation of norms and principles. We can see this during the post-World War II era, where the establishment of international organizations like the United Nations, as well as regional organizations like the European Union, have bound states together through some shared rules and norms. This is what the English school would prescribe as an international society. It is important to note here that while states operate under the shared principles of human rights, justice, non-interference, etc., these are not absolute in practice. Needless to say, most states transgress from these principles from time to time. Other states don't follow them at all. For example, the US has been accused several times of intervening in the domestic issues of other states without the approval of the United Nations, and other countries like China and Russia have been accused of suppressing the rights of certain citizens based on their sexuality or religion. Hence, a common agreement within the English school is that the current system forms a thin international society. This is a pluralist view of the English school. The pluralist view stipulates that the international society is based on a relatively low degree of shared norms, where regular transgressions to these norms is pretty common. However, there are scholars who advocate the solidarist view in international relations. The solidarist view holds that there is relatively high degree of shared norms between states, and transgressions to these norms is rare. The pluralist versus solidarist debate forms an important debate within the English school, and most English school scholars actually operate on a spectrum within this debate. Another important element within the English school is the domestic analogy. The term domestic analogy refers to the condition of domestic life and how it relates to the international society as a whole. Domestic analogy holds that just like individuals need a common authority to maintain order in their social life, states too need some central authority to maintain order in the international system. Bull rejects this domestic analogy by stating that, unlike individuals, states do not need a central authority to maintain order. Order here refers to the carrying out of international activities that maintain the society of states and ensure peace, trade, and commerce. The international society presently does this despite being in a state of anarchy, that is, having no central authority. You might ask then, how does the international society maintain order under anarchy? According to the English school, order is maintained through common goals set by states in order to pursue their respective self-interest. The setting up of these common goals creates institutions that then form a society of states. Some of these institutions existing in our present international society are balance of power, international law, the diplomatic mechanism, managerial system of great powers, and war. These are all stipulated in Hedley Bowles' The Anarchical Society. Again, remember, the English school defines institutions as long-term practices that define the normative structure of an international society. In this case, practices like war and diplomacy are institutions that come about through historical practices and are shaped by common norms prevalent in the society. So, in conclusion, what we have learned about the English school so far is that states operate under set norms, forming an international society. Despite the existence of anarchy, the international society maintains order through setting up institutions under which they can work together to pursue their own national interests. There is a vast amount of literature written about the English school, as well as criticism of the English schools from scholars outside of the community. Unfortunately, we cannot cover everything in this video, but I would recommend you to read scholars like Hedley Bowles, Charles Manning, and Martin White. I would also encourage you to venture into the criticism of the English school, looking particularly at its limitations through a critical IR theory lens. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you did. Let us know in the comments what you would like us to talk about in our next video. Bye!